Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to the Elitist Geek VR news for Tuesday, September 20th, 2016. Really slow on the comments today, guys, both reading and answering. Crypto virus attack despite being protected at work. So if you're a system admin, don't mess around with that thing. Get the Malwarebytes beta anti-crypto on their stat. About 2 hours sleep last night. Was not fun, but hopefully Murphy's done with me. All right, guys, a little bit of preamble. Had an email from FedEx that a package was coming today. Don't remember ordering anything. The last thing I ordered was the SteelSeries gamepad, which is awesome. I love that for VR. Doorbell rings, I check it, and lo and behold, the replacement Samsung Note 7. Only signed last week, I think, about a week ago with the Canadian website to get a replacement, and it's here. So take that to the store tomorrow, give them back the loaner, swap the SIM cards, and Gear VR it up a bit. Some games, Dragonfront Beta, which is apparently fun as hell to play. It's a card-based game. Think of Magic the Gathering. It's in beta. It's going to come out for the Rift. Looks really refined and polished, a bit cartoony World of Warcrafty, which to me isn't a bad thing. Those types of graphics really hold up well. They age well. With Dragonfront Beta, what I don't like, but I can't blame them, is the business model of the in-app game purchases. Call it what you want. You're buying an expansion pack of cards, but really it's paid DLC, paid, in-app software. And hey, if that's your model, fine. What I'm curious on, the only thing I'd want to know myself is, what does the initial package get me? Does it get me a lot of fun, or are you pretty much forced, like you need to have those expansion packs to be able to get anything done? And you'll only know once you start playing it. But it looks good. Like I said, I played Magic the Gathering, with my daughter over the years. I started after Alpha Beta, so back in '94, January, February. Long time ago. So check that out. It's called Dragonfront Beta. The Call of Duty folks had mentioned for those people who buy Infinite Warfare on the PS4, they're going to get a free virtual reality game, and that was going to be called Call of Duty Jackal Assault. So they've got some additional footage up. I'm going to link it below. But check it out. It looks very cool, very much in the spirit of Eve Valkyrie, that kind of cockpit, which, I'll say it time and time again, is just what VR is so well suited for, right? That cockpit experience. So very cool. Looks like it won't just be a quick and done type game, but a game with some actual substance and free. Hell yeah, that is not a bad deal. So woke up today, other than the fact that there wasn't much sleep on my part because of this crypto virus. I think literally I'm on about 2 hours, 3 hours sleep last night. We get word that Canadians will not be able to get Rifts at the retail Best Buy store until October 11th, which is literally just before the Canadian Thanksgiving. So we got to wait a whole extra month. But in the UK and countries of the Euro Union, they will be able to go to, and there's a list of retailers, I'll have the description below. Of note, for residents of the UK, it's up slightly. So the store that's carrying it is selling it for £549, which is up from what it cost to order direct from Oculus. They charge $4.99, and with shipping came out to $5.29. So about £20 more, which, I think, was it the Vive I'd reported that on earlier? Regardless, it was an increase story nonetheless. That bears out with this price. And, it kind of falls in line with the expectations of where it would be available for sale. Now, get your act together, Canada. Hopefully that'll be retail. Now, obviously, we need the game component too. That's so important. It's one thing to have the retail presence. I just wish there were more AAA games at this point in time. Otherwise, we're not going to see the sales, which is kind of unfair because a lot of the people that are waiting are probably waiting, the majority, because of the lack of content of games, not simply retail availability or lack thereof. So hopefully that doesn't taint the retailers on it. I don't think it should, because we are very close to probably seeing the first little trinkles of those efforts in VR starting to appear. Now we have another leak, this time a store that's actually allowed to put the sign up. So Game Store in the UK has a sign up advertising the Oculus Touch for $189.99 in British pounds, which is close to that German euro price that was advertised by the German company MediaMarkt. Game Store says it's a £50 deposit, no timeline, but we can only assume probably in November, again, based on that German store who has since taken their advertisement down. Now, I reported on the company THALMIC Labs, who created the Myo, that gesture interpreter bracelet forearm device, yesterday. Well, we get word today on exactly why their Series B funding may have been so successful and drawn investors like Intel to pump $120 million into that. Well, there was a patent filing. I'm going to put some pictures up here. It looks like they've made significant improvements to the Myo, i.e. the Myo Rev 2, if you will. This thing is able to interpret all kinds of complex hand gestures. The patent lists a bunch of them. Tapping fingers, it's even able to interpret. So very, very cool, and, you know, completes the puzzle on why Intel and some of these companies were interested. There's the obvious, what they do, but the fact that they have a technology that much improved in the works from the release, which didn't get a lot of fanfare, that's saying a lot. Very cool, THALMIC Labs. Can't wait to check that out. So I've linked both the patent and the original story below. Now, Microsoft HoloLens, I've reported on that here with regards to the gardening thing, how my feeling is, even more than gaming, AR devices like the HoloLens specifically are going to benefit business. They're going to benefit contractors, architects, repair personnel, like we saw with that German story where 30,000 of their technicians are going to be using the HoloLens. So that's where I see the largest benefit. We've also heard complaints when it was launched about the small field of view. You take that all together and it still sounds pretty tantalizing, but really business focused. The one thing lost in all of that is the awesome tracking system, which is an inside-out tracking system. And Road to VR has a good article on exactly that, how that was really overlooked. And what inside-out tracking is literally the opposite of what we have with the Rift and the Vive, where the sensors are in the HMD, the cameras are mounted on walls or monopods, tripods, and it's read that way. Inside out, like the HoloLens, it's the reverse. The sensors, everything is built into the camera. Sorry, the camera is built into the visor, and there's anchor points in the real life room that are used to do things like tracking. What's so amazing about this is that up until the HoloLens, a lot of the companies that had been trying to do inside out tracking been running into all kinds of synchronization issues, losing sync, losing tracking. Shaking your head would result in, momentary loss of tracking. The author tried to do stuff like that with the HoloLens and was surprised he couldn't shake off the tracking. It was that good, and is only going to get better with the new device. So very cool. What I wonder is, even on the VR side of the equation, how much VR can benefit from that too, because having all of that plus it be wireless in your HMD, that really benefits the technology. More so, I think, than doing outside-in tracking, but I could be wrong. It will be neat to see the kind of final avenues that these technologies go down, say in the next 5 years, right? Next up, Time Life. If you haven't heard or hadn't heard of Time Life magazine, you probably been living in the mountains, because it's pretty iconic. Time Life magazine's been around forever, covering world wars, you name it, it's been there. Well, their brand division has partnered with some virtual reality companies to create what they're basically calling an interactive relaxation experience. You put the HMD on and you get transported into a bioluminescent forest, which is basically non-linear. You can walk around, meditate, and the environment responds to you. So very cool. And after the week that I've had, especially, wow, pretty much with everything, this is something I could benefit from, I'm sure. So that's Time, and the experience is called Lumen. Last story has to do kind of with the real estate market. We've touched on this before on the channel as well, but what I like about this is kind of the infusion of technology. So back when I talked about real estate, I said it could really benefit from something other than the horrible fish lens stuff that you get now, right? Where it's all warpy. When you spin in rooms, you can't seamlessly really walk through the house with a smooth experience. Again, warping and fish lens. Well, there's a company called Matterport, and their CEO, Bill Brown, working with the author at TechCrunch, scanned his entire flat with their Matterport $4,500 Pro Camera. And what this thing does is it takes the entire layout and presents it on screen as a three-dimensional dollhouse. So kind of like what I showed in Lucky's Tale, where I was at the side of the aquarium and you could kind of look in. Similar to that, you get a sense of scale, how the rooms connect to each other, how everything is tied together. Something you don't get on current real estate websites, at least not the ones that I've been looking at. Now, they're working with another partner to bring that to VR, to be able to import that 3D dollhouse so you can literally walk around with your HMD on. What you can do with their Matterport as is not just the dollhouse view. You can walk around and it's kind of like street view, but the fish lensing and warping gone. Fairly smooth experience, which is only going to be that much more awesome once it's full VR. So definitely something to check out. It's going to help house hunting, realtors. I can see that really taking off with real estate agencies purchasing HMDs just to be able to tap into this kind of stuff, because in real estate, it's all about marketing and separating yourself from the competitors. So I expect within a few short years to see that literally everywhere. All right, guys, that's it for me. We are going to get back at Murphy and get some computers built and documented and games played, which I haven't done for quite a few days. As always, cheers, and definitely catch you on the VR flip side.